Good morning, I'm Mahesh. Today I'm going to talk about propagating some herbs. There are so many ways of making your own plants, and this is what we call the semi-rad cutting is one of the easiest methods. Later on in the season, we'll be talking about taking cuttings from the hardwood use. That will be sometime in December, January time, which is even a lot easier. But there are, as I said, there are so many other methods which are much more complicated. And then there will be a note to go with this video as well. So here, what we have got sage. Two types of sage here. We have got lemon verbena, and we have got two types of rosemary here. So I'm going to show you how you can take cuttings, and you don't need to be an expert to do this. And okay, even if the germination rate is not 100%, you are not losing anything because they are just few cuttings from our trees. But it's about a loading process, and then once they are fully rooted in a couple of months' time, you can put them in a separate pot, and then, or you can put in the final destination where you're going to put. So I'm going to start with lemon verbena, and you can see here, and this is the hardwood. This is the growth of the last year, so it is no good for rotting. And then this is the new growth here, what you call a semi-rad cutting. So I'm going to cut here, and I'm going to remove all the leaves at the bottom here, which is going to go under the soil here. I'm going to remove all that, and then I'm also going to cut the top here and leave very few leaves, because you have to survive. They have to survive with whatever food is left in this one until this one starts rooting. And if you cut right next to a node here, so then that's where the rooting comes like this. And so what I do is basically you just stick like this up, maybe slightly longer. Like this. And then I'm going to do another of this one. Same. And then again cut the top bit and leave just a couple of leaves, not more than 2 or 3, and then just gently push like this. So that's lemon verbena, and then I'm going to do rosemary. Again, you can see this is the last year's growth, very dark one, and this is this new year's growth here. So if I cut somewhere here, okay, and remove these things. Just up to the side. So then we'll do sage. Again, you can see this is old growth. This is the new one from here. Remove the leaves here. The idea of doing around this is that you can put so many just in one pot, because you are waiting for them to root, and then once they're rooted, you can put them in. You can just lift them and you can put them in a separate pot. That's not a problem. The key thing is to maintain the moisture. I think in the textbook it says you have to cover with a plastic to retain the moisture there. So it shouldn't be in a very hot place. It should be in a nice, cool, but warm place. And the key thing is to keep it moist all the time, not let it to dry. So I think what I suggest, if you have got a pot like this underneath and then it has some water, so it will never dry. Sometimes you forget to water, and that's the key thing. Otherwise, I just said this is probably the easiest way to propagate any plant for your garden, and instead of buying plant. This is another type of
and why are you pinching it off at the top?
because the top is quite soft and all that, and then it may need more energy, and it may not survive, so that helps, because all the energy needs to go into rooting now rather than feeding the leaves and all that. So I think that way it helps to root, and then also from here the new branches will come anyway. That's the things. What I was going to say is that in fact, I mean, this is quite sort of semi-professional way of doing things. But what I did last year was that I just took some of these branches from my rosemary plant, and I just put around the plant edge, because it was in a big pot, you see. I did about a dozen, and most of them rooted. I repotted them and I sold them this year to make some money for our organization. So this is really, I just said, this is a very easy way of doing things. You don't need to do any. You don't have to worry about too much. And I just said, even if just one or two socks, you manage to get one or two in the first year, that's not a big problem either, because it's just the bit of cutting from your plant. The plant is still there, and then you can do more next year. So there we go. So that's the way to take semi-ripe cutting. This lemon verbena, everybody likes here this lemon verbena. We have this for our tea here as well in the afternoon. So I'll do a bit more of this one. That's it. Hello, I'm Mahesh. I'm going to show you how to keep your own tomato seed. I've got two tomatoes here. One is Greek tomato that I've been growing for the last 5-6 years, and originally came from Heritage Seed Library. This is probably the best tomato I've done so far, and so I've been keeping a seed, and I'm going to do that again. And then the second one is called brandy sweet. This is a very small one, like a plum type tomato. Again, this is from Heritage Seed Library, which I got the seed first time this year, and I tried, and it's very, very sweet. So I'm going to keep this seed. I believe so we'll have two more things. So how am I going to keep the seed like that? I'm just going to cut this like this, and I'm going to take the pulp where there's all the seeds are here into the jar here, gently like that, and then there are no seed left here which I can just eat. Then I'm going to show the same. So I think from one tomato we might get at least 40-50 seeds here when they are ready. Yeah, that's all come. So I've got all little tomato seed here. I'm going to close the lid, and I'm going to leave it here for 3 to 4 days. And the other one, the Greek tomato, which I did the same thing about 4 days ago, now it has got all the molds inside. So what I'm going to do it now, I'm going to rinse it thoroughly, and then dry it and store it for next year. So the way to do this is just to put everything in a sieve. Because it has got that fluffy things outside, or what I need to do is with running water. I have to wash it and remove all the dirt. Now they are nice and clean and all that. I'm going to put them in a greaseproof paper like this, just to spread them out. And you shouldn't be drying this out on the straight sun, but I'm in a sort of dry and steady place for a couple of weeks until it is dry, and then you can put them in a jar and then use. And in fact, you can even use the seed produced this year for at least next 2-3 years without any trouble, which I've been doing, and I don't have any problem. That's the way to do it. So you all can save your own tomato seed whenever you like with the tomato that you grow. Thank you.